Hi, Zimi. This is a follow-up of our class that we had today. So I'm gonna be explaining the account for cost of sales as well as the account for sales. I know that these ones can be a bit tricky sometimes. Yeah, so I'm just gonna try and hopefully just clarify a lot of things or certain questions that you might have or you might have in the future. So you can just always use this as a reference whenever you're struggling. Okay. Um, as you know, the sales account is usually affected by there are certain items that affect the the sales account. Okay, so this will be our sales account, and then I will. Okay, let me just write it down here. Okay, and then underneath that, it's going to be our cost of sales account. Okay, I'm just going to write costs just to save time. Okay, so we have the cost of sales and we have the sales account. So there are certain things that affect the sales account. Remember, what we're doing here is exactly what you will have to do in your what is it, your income statement. So on this side, I'm just going to write bank. So the bank actually represents any cost of sales that we might have in the business. It can be whether it's cash cost of sales or debtors. I'm sure you know this from grade 11 if you did accounting in grade 11. So this is the actual sales, yeah, all of it as it is. And then so since this is a nominal account, so our sales will increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. Okay, so it means that everything that has to do with the increasing of sales basically will be on the debit side, and then everything that sort of like impacts our sales negatively will be on the credit side. So here, the things that you have to put aside, you have the returns. So you know that if ever customers return anything to the company, it will reduce their sales amount that we have, right? If ever we allowed discount, like let's say a customer bought something from the company, this already will reduce the amount that we will be receiving from the customers. You get it? Okay, and then another thing, if ever we are paying, let's say there is Lois or Macro, they are selling things, but then they offer free delivery. So the free delivery amount will be taken from our sales. So it also does what? It reduces the sales amount. If we have stock theft, yeah, like let's say some of our employees or some of our customers stole some of the stock, therefore it does what? It reduces our sales amount. Okay, another one that we can put here, we can put damage stock. Yeah. So here the damage stock, it can only be if ever this was supposed to be sold, for example, but then it got damaged somehow. You get it? So let's, or maybe it was sold and then it got let's say during the process of from us as a business all the way to the customer, the stock somehow got damaged. You get it? We had already sold the stock to the customer, but it got what? Damaged. So therefore, it can no longer be sold to the customer. It has to be returned back. So that's going to do what? It's going to affect the our sales. Okay, I wanted this. I hope this is clear for you. Okay, so these are the things that will affect our sales. So if ever you are doing your income statement, these are the things that you would have to look for when they are talking about sales. Yeah. And then so with this then, if you were to write this down in your income statement, obviously in your income statement you have maybe that line item which is sales, right? And then you open your bracket, right? And then from opening your bracket you put your bank, right? So I'm not saying you will write the word, but you put the amount. Let's say um our sales here it's 100,000, so the bank for us is 100,000, so you put your 100,000 here, right? And then you will minus what? You will minus your returns. Let's say the returns is 1,000 rand. You say minus 1,000 rand, right? And then minus what? Minus let's say there was a discount of 500 rand, then you say minus 500 rand for discount. If there was a carriage on like sales, yeah, don't forget it's carriage on sales, not carriage on purchases, because if it's carriage on purchases, therefore it means what? It means that it doesn't affect anything within our sales and cost of sales. Okay, I hope that's clear. So you will minus your carriage or on sales. Then if ever there was a stock theft, like something that could have been sold or something that was already sold but got lost somewhere and the customer ended up not getting it, but we had already sold it. So it means what? It's affecting our sales. So anything that has something attached to it that has to do with sales. You get it? So, and then we'll minus the stock theft and then also the damage. The damage is only applicable when it's what? When it has to do with something that was like has to do with our sales. You get it? Not just stock sitting and doing nothing, but stock that was already accounted for like towards sales. Okay, so after minusing all these other things, therefore the amount that you will get will be put into your income statement. So this is how it looks like when we are talking about the T accounts, and this is how it looks like in your income statement. Okay, I know this is just like very basic, but you are also more than welcome to ask me questions. Okay, so with the cost of sales account, this is exactly the same as the sales, but now it's what? It's reverse. So if you notice in the cost of sales account, our debit side, it's the negative side, right? And then it means what? It increases on the credit side. So the credit side will be a plus. You get it? We have the minus on the debit side and then we have the positive on the credit side. So these are the things that reduces the cost of sales. So because we had what here? Here we had returns. You get it? So someone bought something, but then maybe they were not happy with it, or they realized that they can no longer afford it. So they did what? They return it back to us. If they return it back to us, we accounted it with the sales this side, right? Remember what we doing this side will also have to be done what? On this side, the cost of sales. So whatever affects our sales also affect our what? Our cost of sales. So here we'll have the returns. The returns, it's more like debtors allowances. So we say debtors allowances. Okay. Wow. Okay. I don't have enough space, but it's okay. Let's just continue. Okay. So the next one here that we'll have to put in will be the cost of carriages, right? So we had a carriage on purchases, so we have to account how much is it in terms of stock, right? And then we also have to do what the stock that was discounted, how much did it actually cost us? So we also have to do like reduce it from our cost of sales. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, obviously with the stock that was stolen, we'll also have to find out how much did it cost us as in terms of cost of sales. Same with the damaged stock. How much did it cost us? You get it? So that's it basically. So these are the things that will reduce the cost of sales account. And then on this side, obviously, you will put the amount of the stock. How much did the actual stock that we had in the company cost us? So here, depending on like the inventory system that the company is using, you will put inventory or what? Or purchases. So it will just depend on what the company, the form of inventory system they're using. Is it perpetual or is it periodic system? Okay, we will do the stocks account when we go through inventory sometime later, hopefully. Okay, so here you have the accounts. So with this, basically, it's the same thing if it's for like your income statement. With your income statement, obviously, you will put the line item cost of sales, right? Cost of sales. Okay, and then after putting your cost of sales, you know that how much was the cost of sales. Let's say it was 50,000 rand. So you put the 50,000 rand, which is this amount, inventory or purchases, right? And then from then on, you will minus everything that is on this side, right? Let's say everything was equals to maybe 20,000 rand, all this returns and things like that. And then the amount that you're getting will be put into your income statement. Okay, yeah, this was a very brief one. I hope it also helps you out. I know I haven't touched in terms of the percentages, markup on cost, markup on sales, but this is more like the basic introduction. Okay, I hope this helps out. Hi Zumi again. So on this one, I am going to be explaining this complication, which is markup on cost. Okay, since you noticed from the question that I gave you that like they were dealing with a markup on cost. Yeah. I think they said markup of 70% on cost, right? Markup of, okay, let's just put it as it is, of 70% on cost. So they're saying um they will be adding 70% on the cost. Okay, here's something that you need to know. When it comes to cost of sales, ne, we usually like, okay, so I'm just gonna start with this middle block, which is the percentage side. So this is the actual, I'll put the actual amount of the stock. How much is it like in reality? And then this side, I'll put like the example where I'm doing the example. Okay, so first thing first, you need to know that cost of sales will always be equals to 100%. So cost of sales will always be equals to 100%. So I'm just going to put the 100% here as a representation of the what is it, of the cost of sales. So this is the amount that we bought the sales for, the amount that we bought the stock for. So it's the original, the 100%. I don't know if I'm explaining too fast, but if I'm explaining too fast, you're also more than welcome to text me and ask me questions. Okay. So with that said, think of it as like I bought, maybe let's say I bought a pencil. I bought the pencil for R1. So the R1 represents what? It represents the 100% of cost of sales. Okay, so now here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that they are telling us that the markup of 70% on cost. So what do they mean when they say that? They are telling us that they've decided that they are going to say 100%, which is the cost of sales, the original. Then we mark it up like we are increasing it. You get it? Up, mark up with what? With 70%. You get it? So it means what? The sales side will be 100 plus 70. So I will be correct if I say sales will be 170%. You get it? So we have what? We have the cost of sales, which is 100%. And we have what? We have the sales, which is 170%. I don't know if it makes sense. Okay, and then if I was to make the example this side, it's going to be how much? It's going to be R1, which is the amount from cost of sales, right? Plus how much? If you say R1 times 70%, how much do you get? You can pause the video now and work it out on your calculator. Okay, so you said R1 times 70%, and I'm pretty sure you got 70 cents, right? Yeah, so yeah, like in terms of representation of like monetary, it's going to be 0.70, right? So it's 70 cents, right? So if you add these together, you should be able to get R1.70. You are also more than welcome to calculate it now and see on your calculator. Like in terms of online classes, it works better, especially for accounting, if you do the things yourself and not just watch for the sake of watching. Okay, so here we have it now, right? So basically they are saying here 100% is R1, basically straightforward, right? And then when they're saying markup of 70% on cost, they're saying the cost will be brought up by 70% to get what? To get into sales. So here we have our sales, which is 100% plus 70%, and then we get 170. Clear, right? So if you were to work out a profit here, how would you do it? Okay, I'm sure you're also thinking now, if ever I have to work out profit, obviously profit will always be sales less cost of sales, right? Okay, so with this one here now, if you say sales less cost of sales, I'm sure your profit is 70%. So the markup is what? It's the profit. We bought it for 100% and we're selling it for 170%. So it means what? The difference is what? What we are pocketing as a company. This is what? This is our sale. Okay, so with this one here, the example, it means what? It means that we are going to say 170 minus what? Minus minus R1, right? So if we say minus R1, and what do you get? I'm sure you get what? You get the 70 cents, which means that we bought the stock for R1, we sold it for R1.70, and now we are getting what? We're getting 70 cents as what? As profit. Easy, right? Yeah, but the more you practice, the easier it will get. Like you will find a lot of questions of this, like of this nature, and it can be confusing. Sometimes you will find out that like they've given you the cost of sales, but they have not given you the sales. You get it? So you will have to somehow work out how much is the sales, or you have to work out how much is the cost of sales. In this question here, we are given the sales, right? But we're not given the cost of sales. So basically, it meant what? It meant that we have to work out the cost of sales, right? Okay, one thing we know since we have like work it out. I don't know if we can do that one or we can just make up our own. Okay, I think we can make up our own question. Okay, so if we make up our own question, let's say sales is I'm gonna dump sack this amount of money. So say the sales, remember the sales that we're working out here is the final sales, the one that has already taken care of the returns, the debtors allowances, all the other things that might have had to be taken care of. Like if we were saying the sales is 2,100,000, right? So 2,100,000 minus debtors allowances of 100,000. Okay, so this is what we are working out and reminusing, right? Okay, I'm just gonna see and reduce because the space here sucks. Okay. So we had sales of 2,100,000 and then we minus debtors allowances of 100,000, right? So what do we have left now? We are having an actual sales of 2 million. Okay, so our sales is 2 million. We are not given the cost of sales. We don't know the cost of sales. How much is it going to be? You get it. But what is it that we given? We are told that the markup percentage is 70%. Can you work out how much the cost of sales is going to be? Try it, pause the video, try it by yourself, and then after that, play the video and see if you got it correctly. Okay, so as you can see here, I decided to put an X for cost of sales because this is an amount that we are not given. So it means that we have to work out how much is the cost of sales, right? So we are solving for X. Okay, so in this instance now, it means what? It means that we are no longer looking at this column. So if now we're working, it means that like erase this column, it doesn't exist in your head for now, right? And the columns that we're focusing on, it's this column, the middle column here, and the first column. So here we have what? We have 2 million rands, right? And we have 170% this side, right? And then here we have what? We have X that we need to solve. And then this side, we have what? We have 100%, right? Okay, so if we were solving for X here, and I have to rewrite this. So if we were solving for X here, we were going to do it this way. We were going to say 2 million rand is equals to 170, right? And then here we are solving for X, right? We don't know how much X is, right? So we'll say X is equals to what? 100. You agree with me? So it means now we have something like this, something that looks like this. We are solving for X, and yeah. So you know that in terms of math or math literacy, it says what? If you have something like this, all you have to do is do what you do, cross multiply, right? So it means that we say X multiplied by 170. And what do you get? If you say X times 170, you are most likely to get 170x, right? And then you will say equals to, same thing, you will say 2 million times 100, and you should be able to get okay, I'm just gonna say 2 million again, and then add two zeros from the 100. You can just multiply it yourself. You will understand like the amount of money that you're getting them. Okay, so now we have something like this, right? So maths also still does allow us, like when you have something like this, it means that we can now easily do what? Solve for x. You get it? And for us to be able to solve for x, we will say what? We'll say that the number that has x to it we'll have to do what? We have to divide it by itself. So we say 170 divide by 170, more like 170x divide by 170x. Oh, sorry, 170x divided by 170. And you know that in terms of math, we say what you do on your left hand side must also be done on your right hand side. So we will say this side, the 2 million plus the two zeros divide by what? Divide by 170. And then we know now that like let me use my calculator. You're more than welcome to pause the video and calculate and tell me the amount that you're getting. Okay, so you were able to work out. Obviously, if you say 170x divided by 170, you know that x will remain on itself, right? Or you say 170 divided by 170, you will get 1, right? So 1 represents x, obviously, k. And then this side, if you say the 200 million divided by 170, you should be able to get an amount that is think it says 1,176, then it says 470. Yeah, so this is what? This is the x that we're solving, the cost of sales amount that we're looking for. So you have the cost of sales now, and then once you have your cost of sales, obviously to get profit, you say sales less cost